When I was talking about getting the office decorated for the holidays, black and red tagging wasn't really what I had in mind. Just so you, yeah, okay. Maybe next week something a little bit more festive would be good. Okay. 'Tis the season. Welcome to season 2. Episode 49, almost at 41, 49 already, of Niagara 411 Live with Sterry. That's me. We are fueled by Gale's Gas Bars. We are powered by WeeStreem and supported as always by Performance Heating and Air. Sorry, Carlo, a little bit of new lips. Also, Verge Insurance Group in St. Catharines, all Niagara-based and Niagara-loyal companies, and it's just such a pleasure to have them still supporting this program. We are here at 149 St. Paul Street, St. Catharines, which is, there's a few drips coming down off the ceiling here. I got to watch it. We have Fiddler's Poorhouse. We have a great show for you today. We have a lady with a really good Samaritan news story for you. A young man who is unbelievable. Justin Peterson's going to be joining us, and you're going to love his story. So come on in. Let's get set up, and we'll get season 2, episode 49 underway. And you are more than welcome, as always, to join the program, and want to make sure that we tell you how you can do that when we kick off this program in about 30 seconds. Thanks. All right, sorry. First of all, right off the bat, Justin Preston. I said Peterson. I have no idea why. Justin Preston will be joining us. We'll tell you more about him at about 12:40 today. First of all, I want to start off with this sensational story. By the way, Kevin Jack, as per usual, our executive producer, is with us. We'll talk more with him in a bit. Now, this video is just one of many, but perhaps one of the first sensational videos we saw of this car that went into the Niagara River off the American side of the falls. It obviously got caught up on rocks or something, and is very, very close to the brink of the American Falls. And you've probably, this story is everywhere. It's the number one sensational story on pretty much every news network that's been going on nationally and internationally and locally in particular. I mean, this is not something you see every day or every month or every year for that matter. And as we understand it, a lady in her 60s was in that vehicle, perished as a result of this. And of course, we'll make no conjecture as to why the car got there. All we know is that the car got there, and the shots of this emergency rescue team are unbelievable. This is a team that, as I understand it, was getting ready to go through some sort of training exercise and flew here from Detroit. Then this is a very professional, obviously they better be, rescue team from that area, came here in that short order, and here goes the guy. Now, I think they referred to him as an emergency rescue diver, but this you would not term by any stretch of the imagination as a routine dive. He's coming down. Now you got a whole pile of people here that are doing very, very difficult things. Look at the wind whipping around, and of course we're in the upper rapids here on the Niagara River, just above the brink of the American Falls. You've got a guy up there battling a helicopter to try to keep it as stable as possible. And this guy battling winds and mist and, well, look at it, to try to get someone out of that car. And I don't know, Kevin, and those of you that are watching this at home or in your office or wherever, I don't know that at this point they knew how many people were in the car. I don't think they did. So he's kind of down there right now on a reconnaissance mission to see what's going on. And I think you'll see his arm come up like with a thumbs up or something at some point. This may or may not be the video I'm thinking of, but he's got the door open. You can just see the fact that he managed to get the door open. Can you imagine the stress this guy is under? Not only for his own personal safety, but there's a human being inside that car that he could lose control of. They could go over, I mean, if they're out of the vehicle and he can't have a good hold on them, they're gone over the falls. At this point, I don't know yet whether, I believe they didn't know whether this person was deceased or not. So, oh my goodness. And this is being shot, of course, from the United States side of the rapids in the Niagara River above the American Falls. And there's all the, imagine how helpless these Niagara Falls Fire Department guys feel. I mean, there were a lot of those involved in this too, and kudos to everybody for the efforts that they put in to address this situation. And at this point in time, I don't think they're sure even how people got in. We have a picture we'll show you later of tracks off the bank that show where the vehicle went into the river. It doesn't look like there was a lot of braking or anything going on. You just see tracks and then the shoreline. And now this emergency rescue person is in the vehicle. Now, as you are aware, there is a family in Niagara Falls, the Hill family. And that family, over the course of many decades, there's the harm in the air I was talking about. Thumbs up, he's got whoever it is. Or giving them a signal to perhaps now wind everything in. But the Hill family of Niagara Falls performed many, many, many river rescues of all different sorts. But I don't think there's been anything quite as dramatic as this in a long, long time in Niagara. Wow, what a picture. Kevin, can you imagine having that on your shelf and saying, hey, grandson, that was me in 2021. In December.
I mean, that's the brink of the falls right behind him.
Yes. Like, holy cow. Standing on the roof of a car in buffeting winds, angry seas, horrible visibility because of the mist.
So,
wow.
Here we go. And this is courtesy of Niagara Action, which does similar work to Niagara 411 on the American side.
On the American side, yeah, out of New York.
They had an interesting post about the team itself, and you had mentioned
this is what I was talking about. Yeah, it's the United States Coast Guard, Great Lakes Rescue Crew. They were responsible for pulling the deceased lady out of the...
And I don't know when this photo was taken, you know what I mean? I don't know that there'll be...
Yeah, I don't know that it was from this event. Could have been any time, but they're obviously a well-trained and cohesive team that works together often.
Look at this one.
Now, there's the video I was talking about, or the pictures that show the tracks.
Yeah, I'll let you read it, then I'll play the video.
Details emerging, as it says there, as to how a vehicle became submerged in the Niagara River on Wednesday, leading to the death of one individual. It's believed the vehicle entered the river near the Goat Island Bridge entrance. A lot of you will know where that is. This would be, just run it down a little bit for me there.
Oh, sorry. They said it was about 200 to 300 yards upstream.
Oh, is that what it said?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So those are the tracks where the vehicle went in. And
I mean, what else could that be?
I don't know.
But you're right, it doesn't seem as though...
It doesn't look like there's braking or skidding or anything. It just looked like it drove in.
We're not forensic experts, but
No,
you're right.
hell, what do we know?
It doesn't look like it. No, I don't want to play that. I want to play this.
Yeah. Just a fascinating story. And I am unaware, there are probably updates almost by the second on this story. I am unaware right now as to whether they actually have removed the car. I imagine they want to get the car before it rocks loose and goes over the brink, because there's probably some forensic evidence in the car as well. Now, whether that might have been tainted because of that swirling river and the angry seas and the wind and the rain and all the rest of it, who knows? But what a fascinating thing to watch. And kudos. It takes a special person to be able to come down out of a helicopter on a rope or a wire, whatever, cable, and do that. And the talent of the people in the helicopter as well. I mean, the thing just looks like a hummingbird standing still, and that's not easy in these conditions. That's an amazingly amazingly crazy skill set.
You know what I'm seeing here, Lee? This is a picture of about a dozen Niagara Falls Fire Department men
from the U.S.
being emasculated.
That's not fair. That's not fair. They're just saying, well, actually, they're probably thinking, I'm glad it's not me out there.
We do lots of stuff.
But we're not doing that.
We don't do that.
No. I'll do anything for the state, but I won't do that.
Now, I don't know if you were following along yesterday. I kind of was.
For a while.
I was half tied up, but yeah, kind of, I kept one eye on what the heck is going on. And had I been able to get down there and take a look myself, I absolutely would have done it for the sensationalism of it all. Now, trust me, all due respect to the family and the individual who lost their life. I'm not saying that, but I think all of us inside a little bit said, oh man, what's going to happen? And like you said, with the cars still there?
Yeah. And I mean, we don't know. They probably don't even know what it's caught on. Obviously, a rock. And I mean, it could end up like the scow. It could be there for 50 years.
Yeah, the new 2021 Chevrolet Scow.
Yeah.
This is incredible. That rescue effort. I mean, at the time, it was a rescue effort. They didn't know what was going on.
No, they did not know the woman was deceased.
They didn't know how many people were in the car. It was absolute heroism.
And again, we know nothing. We know nothing about that person. We know nothing about the background or anything at this point. And obviously, it'll be a pretty intensive investigation. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, this is one of those scenes, Kevin, that if somebody was on a camera, there's that arm again. What a great shot that is. Just with a still camera doing this for hours, it's kind of like the white Bronco in the O.J. Simpson days. You can hardly take your eyes off this scene because it's so impactful. It's so incredible. Wow. So there you have it, and there obviously is going to be more and more and more to come. And there's our pal Kevin Jack from WeeStreem, our executive producer of the program.
Yeah, kudos to those guys. I mean, I know that's what their job is, but how about getting home? Hey, Dad, how was your day today?
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, we were doing some training in Detroit and got this call from Niagara Falls, and
ended up swimming in the rapids for a while.
I wonder how far-reaching the story is, just given how much of an international landmark Niagara Falls is. Like, is this video being played all over Europe and into Africa?
I have no doubt that it is, because that is a rescue enterprise like none that people have seen in many places around the world. I mean, we see all kinds of folks getting dug out of rubble in third world countries because of earthquakes and such, but it's rare that you see a rescue effort like that. And not that I'm minimizing those things by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just, this is an internationally interesting story. Wow. Want to get to, first of all, let me tell you what's coming up in the program today, quickly, just to tease you a little bit, and hopefully you'll stick around for it. We have a lady by the name of Sienna that is coming on. Sienna is in a wheelchair. Sienna and her family attended the Seasky International Light Show in Niagara Falls this past Sunday, I believe, because that's the same day I was there. I think it was Sunday.
Yeah, you went, said it was great.
Yeah, it was. I sent Kevin a bunch of pictures. I don't know if we'll have time to show you or not. Anyway, there was it's kind of a Good Samaritan story, as well as a bit of a heads up story as well. It's a little bit of a twofer. It's to kind of give you some information about how that particular show works. And it's a great show, by the way. It really is. But this is one woman's experience, and two families collided, if you will, in a good way on this in this story. But it's also kind of give you an idea about what to expect if you go there. Also, Justin Preston will be here. He has this initiative that he started called Letters by Justin. An incredible young man from Niagara. And I won't steal the thunder. I'll let him tell us exactly. Again, we had Justin on earlier, on an earlier version of this program, but he's come back and wants to give us an update on what's happening with Letters by Justin. So we'll do that at about 12:40. 1 o'clock today, Niagara realtor Dan Warkentin, he had, if you remember, we had Dan on when we were talking about a Halloween candy hunt in parks around Niagara, around St. Catharines area, back, well, obviously around Halloween. Well, there's a Christmas initiative that Dan has started, and we'll talk about that as well. Our musical guest today at the end of the program will be Mel Monaco, doing a song called I Choose to Believe. So those are the things we have scheduled, but you are more than welcome to come in at any time. All you have to do is, you see at the bottom there, all you have to do is click the Zoom link in the post. And if you want to comment on anything we're talking about, if you want to shed light on anything in Niagara or bring up something entirely new, by all means, come on in. You'll go into a green room. We'll pop in. We'll have a conversation. It's open line. It's open mic, if you will. So join us at any time, and we'll have a chat. Gales Gas Bars fuels this program. Our title sponsor here on Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, and Jessica Friesen, CEO of Gales, wanted to let you know through this program that they have a really cool position open in their organization, and they wanted us to let you know they're looking for a financial controller. And if you want to work for a trailblazing organization, independently owned and committed to a fantastic work culture, we have been talking over the last number of weeks about them being the only living wage employer in Ontario in the petroleum industry. Now, this position, of course, rises above that level because it's a very high level position in the Gales organization. And if you or someone you know have a flair for numbers, leadership skills, click on the link above. Applicants have to be proficient in Excel, Sage, and have a professional accounting designation. In other words, to prove that you know your numbers, CPA, CMA, or CGAs included. So, yeah, financial controller, great position, great company, local company. You're not working for somebody that's located in Amsterdam or someplace. You have, you know where your boss is all the time. So if you fall into that category, then by all means get in touch with Gales Gas Bars as quickly as possible. We also want to thank Performance Heating and Air, Carlo and his gang, for being here, and this is a busy time of year for them. Happy ho-ho season to you guys, as well as Mark Shirk and Blake Shirk and all the great folks at Verge Insurance Group. Head office located here in St. Catharines, but serving all of your insurance needs all over Niagara. Also, wearing the nice winter felts, warm, keeping the top of my follically challenged head warm, Kevin Neufeld and his gang at Beau Chapeau. Always a pleasure to wear your headgear, especially in a season like this. Beau Chapeau Hat Shop. That is a spot, by the way, that you should put on your Christmas shopping list. I mean, they have hats for all seasons and all reasons in that place. At any one time, maybe 10,000 hats. And winter hats, summer hats, ear coverers, non-ear coverers. It's crazy. It's just a great place. And it's a fun place to be, too. It's hard to, once you go in there, it's hard to get out. It really is. So anyway, thanks to Beau Chapeau. We use your products exclusively here on the program. This is one I bought myself years ago, and it's still... Did you know this particular hat is foldable, crushable? You can put it in a suitcase, and
Really?
that's a nice looking hat.
It's saved its form. You say that's old?
Oh, I've had this hat for 3 or 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah,
And to say that it's been folded, usually I would think hats like that, but that's why you go to Beau Chapeau,
yeah,
right? Because you get the good hats.
yeah.
where-
It's rain and water resistant. Kind of beads up and
Because usually with hats, I mean, you sit on it or fold it the wrong way or
yeah,
pack
you're
it.
toast.
Yeah, it's done.
Not this one.
Lee, a couple of show notes here before
Okay.
we get into. Sienna is here in the green room.
Awesome.
And we do have a bunch of people that are joining us on the Zoom.
Okay.
So a couple of things. The Zoom room is, and that link is there for you to come on the show. So if you want to come on the show with Lee and talk about whatever it is you want to talk about, by all means. But if all you want to do is just watch the show, just watch it on Facebook. The experience on Facebook
Yeah, you don't
is
need to
completely
click the
different.
Zoom. Yeah, you don't need to click the Zoom link to watch it. But if you want to be on the program,
Right. So, there are a couple of people there now, and I know they can hear me. If your intent is to come on the show and talk to Lee about something, then absolutely, we'll get
Yeah.
to you right after Sienna.
Yeah, hang in
okay.
there.
But if you just want to watch the show, then just get out of the Zoom room and go watch it on Facebook. And Sienna's here. I'll throw her story up, and then we can meet her.
yeah, this is great. So another Good Samaritan story, and we love to touch on these because there is so much dark news in the world. The good news is, well, good news. This is Nick putting up below. I've copied and pasted the note received along with the picture. My name's Sienna. I was at the Seasky International Light Show last night, December the 4th. I was there too, at 7 p.m. I did the 5 o'clock one. I'm a wheelchair user. My staff and I called a week prior to book the tickets to make sure it was completely wheelchair accessible. We arrived and went through the gates. We quickly realized that it was not wheelchair friendly. Between the mulch and the dirty, soft ground, my staff that was pushing me could barely manage. It was as if it was quicksand and potholes, as this is a very popular population. It says, I'm assuming she meant popular tourist attraction this time of year. There was many people. After almost 30 minutes of trying to push me through and only getting maybe 5 meters, a family of 4, mom, dad, their 2 daughters, one approximately 12 to 14, the other one 4 to 6, came and asked if we needed assistance pushing me through the lights event. Shocked, out of breath, but extremely grateful, we accepted their offer. They were very engaging, kind, and made me and my staff feel welcome as if we were part of their family. Me and my staff were either going to turn around or continue to go through, but it would have taken us 4 or more hours at the rate due to the conditions. So that was the story in a nutshell. The people that Sienna met apparently were from the Sudbury area or whatever. She joins us now on the show. Hi, Sienna. Thanks for coming on and being here with us today. How are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you?
Terrific, terrific. Now, as chance would have it, when I read your story, I could identify with the conditions because me and my family, my son and his wife and 2 small children, one was about 3.5 and he started out walking, etc. And like he had mud up to his knees before we started. Now that was just in the parking lot. So, and I can, when I was reading your story, I could empathize with the fact of, wow, somebody in your conveyance would have certainly been challenged. And thank you for sharing your story. It must have been, walk us through, pardon the horrible pun, if you will, about how the evening went for you.
Well, so when we arrived, obviously parking was a challenge. So we did ask because when we pulled in, they weren't aware that we had a wheelchair. So they told us to continue going where everyone walks to go into the entrance to park. When we did park, it was obviously muddy. We went in, gave them our tickets, and obviously these tickets are not cheap in the beginning, right?
No.
So when we entered, it was like more like a pavement area, and then once you really hit the lights, it's like soft ground. It kind of like was like hay or mulch on the ground as well.
Yeah.
And at one point I told my staff, I was like, I'm getting seasick because it was like bumping up and down. And it was like, we kept getting like so to speak stuck. And at one point I was like about to cry because I was looking forward to this event. I actually live at Community Living for Colborne Wainfleet. And we've been having a little bit of issues regarding me living here. So this is supposed to like help me get out, get my mind off things. And it became more than a struggle. I did start laughing because it was comical at times, but it was also very frustrating. A lot of people were giving us looks, sometimes start kind of like glares. And at times, I mean, I've been a wheelchair user. I'm used to the glares. People don't really realize how inaccessible the world really is until they have a loved one in a chair.
Yeah.
Or having to use mobility devices and whatnot. So it was really tough. And we were probably, I want to say, pushing me for half an hour to get through like roughly 5 meters in. And I was started to cry. I was like, maybe we should just turn around. I'm used to the looks. I usually tell my staff, it's my new shoes. Just think in your mind, these looks and these glares are just because I have no shoes on, because they will get upset. And then this family came up from behind. So I'm actually deaf. I'm hard of hearing. I'm fully deaf in my right ear and 75% deaf in my left. I rely on lip reading. Obviously, it's dark. It's very hard to see. And this family approached from behind and asked my staff if we need assistance pushing. My staff looked to me and I said, oh yes, please. And they were really engaging. And the father was a better pusher than my staff was. I think because he obviously had more strength, and my staff is a female and it takes a little bit of extra strength to push through. And the father was telling me like what he does for work. It actually was the youngest daughter's birthday that day as well.
Okay.
So the fact that they took time, as a family, they took their time and asked if we need assistance and offered assistance despite it being their daughter's birthday was a big thing for me, that they were willing to do that.
Sure.
And I was in awe. And I remember even after we left, I just couldn't believe it. I just kept saying, oh my gosh, these people were like so nice. And I was just shocked and in disbelief that even occurred. I remember this, I don't know if you recall the squirrel near the beginning.
Yeah, I do. I know the
of
squirrel.
The lights. And then farther down, like maybe halfway, 3/4 down, there was the Ice Age area.
Yeah.
And the older daughter was like, oh, where's the squirrel? Like the father's like, I don't see the squirrel. And me and the daughter were like at the same time, he's at the front. And, we all had like a little laugh and a chuckle. And with the dinosaur, we were talking about like people must be going up and putting their heads in by the mouth to take pictures. They were just so warm and welcoming. And I don't really see that a lot nowadays. The accessibility issue, because we've run into so many issues in the past, we always call ahead of time. Yeah. Even zoos, for example, Safari Niagara, they're really not accessible either. So we always call ahead. I do receive passport funding from the government. I don't know if you're aware of what that is.
I am, but you can explain it to us.
So passport funding is allocated to individuals who are with the DSO. It allows them to get out in the community, engage, be active participants. And so I have funds allocated for that. So we were using my funds to help pay for that. And obviously, we submit the receipts and whatnot. So we can't get reimbursed once we pay for this. We got to go to it.
Oh, yeah,
passport
sure.
Money was used. And I was, I'm grateful for the DSL for that, as well as my placement,
Now,
because I was actually in.
When you talk about your staff, did you mean there was only one person?
There was only
with you?
one staff with me, yes.
And this was a lady?
Yes.
Okay. And is this like when you say staff, I know you said you lived at community living or whatever. Is she an employee of that facility, or is it like a personal service worker?
So typically I actually have, the Ministry of Community and Children's Social Services pays for my staff one-on-one for me while living here. I've only lived here since March, so it's very new. I was in foster care, so I transitioned from foster care to the shelter system into the DSO. And
So you're on your
unfortunately,
own.
yeah, so I live in my own apartment. I was with one-on-one staffing throughout the day, but we've been having issues staffing me due to the shortage in the sector,
Right.
as well as my complex needs. It kind of makes it more difficult. So we're really struggling in that aspect. So it was actually one of my previous workers offered to take me out. So she lives up in Brantford, so she drove down
Oh, wow.
to take me out to this event. Yes. Because we've been struggling with my staffing. I am actually currently, despite receiving 16 hours of direct one-on-one support throughout the whole entire day, I am actually not getting that at all. I'm lucky to get, because they come in at 8:45 till 10:15, 12 until 12:30, 4:30 until 5, and 8:30
Wow.
to 9:30. So it's a very bare minimum right now, and I'm really struggling with that.
Must be
But
very, very stressful for you.
it is, because I've been, since I was young, I've been in foster care, and I was in many group homes, many different placements, and I've always gotten one-on-one direct support, sometimes 16 to 24 hours a day. So having it be stripped away, it was recently stripped away, and I'm with Bethesda as well. Like, I have a Bethesda worker, and she's been advocating on my behalf for quite a bit now regarding this. So it was very nice to get out. This actually, Niagara 411 did reconnect me with the mother and the father, which was very great.
You did reconnect?
Yeah. So I guess one of the friends, childhood best friends of the father, saw the post, and he actually directly shared it with the father and the mother, and they reached out to me over Facebook Messenger.
Oh, that's great.
Which is really amazing. And it's hard moving somewhere new. I moved in 8 days before my birthday here. And this sector is just so short-staffed, and it's really, really hard because my program is 16 hours a day. Van rides, going out, doing activities, and that's all been pulled right now. We're working on putting it back in place. As we speak, it's being worked on. I believe about December 20th we're hoping for. So I've been having to use passport dollars to balance out and kind of replace the funding the ministry is already directly paying to the agency to support me.
Sienna, these are provincial programs, and
Yes,
it comes
these are
under
provincial programs.
Provincial purview. And how old are you right now?
I am 21 years old. I am turning
my
22 in March.
And having to have gone through so much at such a young age, let me ask you something as well, because I mentioned at the top of the program that this was kind of a multifaceted story. First of all, it's a Good Samaritan story, and
Absolutely.
wonderful people that came to your aid, so you could actually enjoy what is a very nice show. The other thing that struck me is the definition of accessibility. And to give the Seasky people the benefit of the doubt, when you asked that question, or your staff asked the question as to the accessibility of this event for someone in your situation, I'm sure they felt that they were giving you the right answer.
I believe they were indeed.
Because
these individuals are young.
Yeah,
that
because
are working.
there are no stairs. It's, for all intents and purposes, it's level, but accessibility is a very complex issue. So, and your case, your situation is a primary example of that, because when I was walking around there, it was great for us because it wasn't a muddy trail. They did have the mulch down so you could walk, but I can, and we had a stroller with a 3.5-year-old in it, and it was a bit of a challenge. So, accessibility doesn't mean the same thing to all people, apparently.
Yeah, I feel like everybody's definition is different for accessibility. I mean, especially on their own, like whether what they've seen in the news or what they've heard or even lived experiences. So my version of accessibility and my worker's version of and definition of accessibility is very different. And obviously, for example, we went to Niagara on the Lake one time, like historical area, and it wasn't accessible because we heard about fritters on the lake and wanted to go. And that is not accessible because it is a heritage area. It does not have to follow the AODA Act.
Right.
So only accessible place was the LCBO. So, that was kind of comical.
Something.
Oh, maybe they want me to drink,
Lee, I want to hop in here. Sienna, it's Kevin here, and I got to say, I did not expect to have the conversation that we're having right now, and I am so thoroughly impressed by you.
Me too.
And I want to, and I know, Lee, we haven't even talked about this, but we should have you on the show on a more regular basis.
Yes.
I am so
I would
impressed.
absolutely love that.
Yeah, I'm impressed by you. I'm impressed by your story, and I think your voice is one that should be valued in our community, and I absolutely want to touch base with you again. I also wanted to share, you mentioned that the family reached out to you, and that's Cal and the Bernard family. Where were they from? Sudbury, is that right?
Yeah, I believe they're from the Sudbury area. Yeah, that's correct.
So I reached out to Cal as well, because I said, hey, let's reunite you guys on the show. And he's just tied up today. But in true Canadian and Good Samaritan fashion, here's what he wrote back to me. He said, hey, so I didn't expect this to kind of blow up like it did. I just happened to be there and could help out. I didn't do it to gain praise or anything. I did it because it's the human thing to do. But at the same time, your lived experiences, there were a number of people that walked by you that could have helped, and Cal's the one that did. And he also said, I really appreciate it, but I have a full day of work today and plans for afterwards. I hope you have a great show.
And Sienna, I was going to kind of go where Kevin went a few minutes ago before we say goodbye to you today.
Yeah.
You have been probably more informative on this issue in the last 10 minutes than anyone I have talked to in the last 10 years. And I don't mean that facetiously. You are a wonderful spokesperson for people that are in your situation on so many different levels. And to go to Kevin's point, I do not want to lose track of you. I want you to be able to keep us informed as to issues that are important to people in your community and to people that are in your that live in your world, because this is stuff that bubbles under the radar for like 90% of the population. Not just in Niagara, but elsewhere as well. But since we speak of Niagara, this is a big deal. You are an independent young lady, but you do have to, because of your situation, depend on supports. And when that support is when those supports are either unfunded or reduced, the impact on you is extreme.
Oh, it absolutely is. And I believe, because I know we have, years ago, we've moved out of, institutionalizing individuals with disabilities, but at the same time, I do not think we do fly under the radar. Not a lot of people are aware or as informed as people like me. I actually had to educate myself to learn how to advocate for myself, because the system was failing me. So that has been really hard, but at the same time, knowledge is power. But sometimes I am perceived as a threat as a result, because I am very educated. But it is very nice to have that, but at the same time it's disappointing, because I know what is lacking in the system. I know what is missing. And it's really hard, because I will try to advocate for my peers and other individuals, and sometimes it falls on deaf ears. For the most part, even for me, for advocating, it falls on deaf ears, and they say advocate, but
okay, Sienna, thank you so much for being here.
Welcome.
We already love you, and we just met you 15 or 20 minutes ago. I'm glad you ended up enjoying that light show,
Me too.
even though it was a bit lumpy to start with. And do keep in touch with us. I know Kevin will stay in touch with you behind the scenes. And Godspeed to you. And thanks again for your story and the information you gave us here today. It was wonderful.
No problem. I'd love to come back if you want me back.
Any time. We always want you to. Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much.
Wow.
Bye.
What an amazing young woman, Kevin.
Incredible. I didn't know that's where this was going.
Well, I had the two-pronged topic in my head to talk to. I wanted to talk about the evening itself, but I also wanted to talk about the accessibility issue as far as being a different definition for different people. Because I honestly believe that the Seasky International Light Show people were sincere when they, in their own minds and hearts, when they told her it was accessible. I mean, why wouldn't they if it wasn't? But again, they didn't probably realize that their facility was not accessible under certain conditions. Yeah. So. But wow, what an amazing young woman!
I could not be more impressed.
I get you,
Sienna, and to think that also she went through the foster home system.
I know. I wanted to talk to her more about that.
I know.
Too.
I'm like, wow, the insight that she has and how intelligent she is in telling it at such a young age with the maturity. I mean, sometimes, Lee, that breaks people, and she's risen above.
Oh,
man. I want to talk to her forever.
Me too. That's what I want to talk to her about as well. I had so many questions about the foster system. How did she get there, and what was that like? And especially somebody that's special needs, and it's like one of those moments.
Absolutely. And then on top of it, fully deaf in one ear, and yet
and 70% in the other.
And she said she relied on lip reading. Was she reading your lips that whole time? If so,
I don't know. Well. A lot of
Incredible.
Questions still. A lot of questions. And again, Sienna, if you're still watching, you're amazing. You are amazing, and thank you for being.
Yeah, I want to have lunch with you, Sienna. I want to be your friend. Like seriously,
I feel exactly the same way. It's like I want to know this person more.
God.
Amazing. All right. So Justin Preston, by you putting that up there, my friend, I'm assuming that Justin is hanging out in the green room, waiting to come on here. Justin. Is joining us for the second time on this program. And speaking of programs, he has a program, an initiative, and it's entitled Letters by Justin. There you see him in the picture beside the Niagara 411 logo. I don't want to tell you about it. I want Justin to tell you about it. He's been with us before, and it's such a pleasure to have him back. Welcome back to Niagara 411 Live, Justin. How you doing?
Hello, I'm very well, thank you. Right now I'm in my work's basement, so you guys might hear some noises, but please bear. I'm so honored to be here, and I just want to thank Niagara 411 for shining so much light on our community and positive news, and for welcoming me today.
Well, I love the colors. The tones are great. I don't know if it's purple or mauve or what color that is on the bricks behind you, but when you say you're in your workstation, it looks like you're in sort of a lower level somewhere. Where the heck are you?
I'm underneath Golden Nugget Bingo while bingo session is happening upstairs.
Okay, that's awesome.
I'm also one of the callers today, so as soon as I'm done this, I'm jumping right into my work.
Yeah, under the J12. Okay, so. Since you have a day job to go to, fill us in on your Letters by Justin campaign, what it is and how it's going.
So Letters by Justin, I've been doing for a couple of years now, where Christmas is the biggest requests that are being sent in to me myself. So every year I dedicate trying to write over 1,000 Christmas cards to people during the holidays, because the holidays are sometimes not so holly and jolly because people are stressed financially since this pandemic too. We all have stories that many people don't know about, but we can hide it all by a simple smile. So I've dedicated every single year making sure that every person gets a handwritten letter personalized to me. And no matter where you live around the world, whether it's in Niagara or it's the Netherlands or Holland, England, I make sure that everyone's able to get a Christmas card. And with writing cards, last year I realized with the pandemic, we had a lot of time on our hands. And this year, with coming back to work, like I mentioned, I'm in my work's basement right now, and I'm so thankful for the space. Mm-hmm. But I realized that with working a full-time job, I didn't really have much time this year. But I'm very proud to say that I have written over 600 Christmas cards, and I still have over 85 submissions of people wanting a Christmas card this year. So I've been dedicating every single minute I have since October, writing almost 20 to 30 cards a day. Day and night, when I'm off work, that's what I'm doing. I'm writing to people, reading their stories. And I'm just so thankful for the support within the community. This year, Taps Brew House, located in Niagara Falls,
Yeah.
did a holiday market, and they fundraised for Letters by Justin this year, which raised almost $721 for
Wow.
postage,
That's
which
great.
will help. Yes.
Because that
That's
was one of my questions about the overhead for this kind of initiative. Do you have to purchase the cards as well as pay for the postage, or like where do the cards come
correct.
from?
Yeah. So I thankfully again since last year, I would ask anyone that had any unused stamps or Christmas cards that I can use so I can pay it forward to others within my community and all around.
Yeah.
And this year I had purchased a lot of cards. Some of them were also donated. Some stamps were also donated. And I also purchased postage as well. But if it wasn't for the community, if it wasn't for businesses, if it wasn't for people helping me help people, this wouldn't be a possibility because a Canadian stamp's $1.91.
Yeah.
An American stamp is almost $2.
And then overseas,
$3 for a Christmas card.
So, Justin, how do people get on the list? I suppose. I'm assuming that there must be a lot of people that come to you and say, "I know a person that would love a Christmas card," as opposed to somebody saying, "I'd like to get a Christmas card." I'm assuming there's a lot of like third-person referrals.
That is correct. So last year I realized that I needed to be a little more organized. So I was going through my Instagram, Facebook, my emails, collecting all these addresses, handwriting them in paper. Where this year I have a Google Sheet. Technology. I've kind of learned how to use technology a lot more since this pandemic. So people are able to sign up through the website or through Rise Against Bullying's Facebook page, where they click a link, they add their information, it gets put on a Google spreadsheet. And on top of that, people do inbox me on Facebook, they send me emails. Wherever anyone is reaching out to me, I make sure that I'm able to add their name onto that Google spreadsheet. So I'm able to keep track on how many people I've written to, which is 603 people so far.
This year.
And they're all mailed out.
So let me ask you, what category, I don't like to categorize people, but I'll use the word anyway, I'm sorry. What category or what situation, might be a better word, are most of the people in that receive your cards? What sort of criteria do people use, or do you use, to include them on the list of recipients for Letters by Justin?
So a lot of the people that I've been writing to are either going through a lot of self-confidence, a lot of young people that are having troubles at school. Main thing is mental health. A lot of people are feeling very blue. So I make sure that I'm able to write something positive and kind and loving to every person that I'm writing a card to. So whether it's a child being bullied at school or an adult dealing with mental health or just the holidays being stressful or the loss of losing someone and just trying to shake that off. I've noticed a huge increase of parents reaching out to me to write to their children because they're just seeming very down or not having their friends or trying to socialize again with the schools opening, trying to make friends. And I'm everyone's friend. And I want everyone at the end of the day to be able to feel like they're loved and that there's someone out there that's cheering them on through the good and bad. And it's just a huge blessing and heartbreaking at the same time to see what everyone's going through with so many different situations.
Justin, as always, I mentioned this the first time we met you. You're an impressive young man. You're an impressive person in general. And for somebody to take that kind of time and to put themselves at risk, it's wonderful that you have people that will help underwrite the cost of this. It's terrific that there are businesses and folks that have stepped up to help underwrite the cost of something like this. Because as you mentioned, a stamp isn't cheap anymore.
No, it seemed to be very difficult. Just trying. But since last year, I realized I had hundreds and 1,000 people in total. With having time on my hands to now trying to do it again this year, just starting back to work. And if it wasn't for the community, if it wasn't for Taps Brew House, if it wasn't for people being involved, I don't think I would have been able to really have completed this mission as much as I would have wanted to. But it was very, very, very stressful. And I'm so blessed that the community came together to help make this all happen.
Well, we're happy about that too. One more quick question, then we'll let you go back and do your calling.
I got one, Lee.
You got one?
Well, unless they're the same. Well, you ask yours.
No, you first.
So, Justin, does anybody ever write back?
I had that one too.
That was your question?
Yeah.
So I do get a lot of responses with Christmas cards and stuff. Sorry for the background noise. I'm sure you guys are able to hear me still.
We can hear you. No.
What are they doing? B8. 72.
Yes, I hear that upstairs. I'm so blessed. I'm training calling today, so I'm glad there's someone that's backed up there right now.
Okay.
Calling.
Yeah.
One of the blessings, though, with the cards, I do get a lot of responses back, whether it is through email or it's online or in a Christmas card. But I want to share something really quick. Last year, something struck really hard to me, and I had a response from a young lady out in the Netherlands. She said to me, all she got for Christmas last year was my Christmas card because she is unsupportive with her family. She is transgendered in a community that's not really filled with so much love. And when this person reached out to me and had told me that all they got for Christmas this year was a Christmas card, my heart just melted. And sometimes you don't realize what people are really going through and how one little simple card can mean the entire world to someone during the Christmas holidays.
Well, on that note, and I can't think of a better one, Justin, Preston, thanks again for being here.
Thank you.
I hope your training goes well today, and if nothing else, you've earned your place. You've earned a rung on that stairway to heaven, as they say. Thank you so much for being here, my friend.
Thank you as well. I appreciate your time. Niagara 411 is amazing. Thank you for always shining positive news when things that happen within our community. I appreciate all of you.
Well, come back and talk to us.
For sure. I will.
Take care, friend.
Peace out.
Wow, we meet some amazing people, Kevin.
Absolutely.
Sheesh.
That was making my heart melt.
I know.
That letter back from the Netherlands.
I know.
How hard is it to do nice things?
I've said this before. These people, like Justin, like Sienna, they make me feel so inadequate. Like, holy cow, what have I done lately? Right? Crazy.
100%.
Anyway, want to thank our sponsors once again while we have a moment. We have Dan Warkentin coming on to talk about the XMas Toy Drive that he's supporting here in Niagara. So I know there are a lot of drives and there's a lot of events and there's a lot of things, but he ran this successful Halloween thing again, and it was pretty cool. So we want to talk more about that with Dan at 1 o'clock. I do want to thank Gales Gas Bars for fueling this program almost since its inception. They started with us near the end of our season 1 and have been with us all through these 49 episodes of season 2. Jessica Friesen, the CEO, and her gang, and you'll probably see a lot of their staff dressed up for Christmas. They enjoy the holidays and all special occasions, so you might see Santa or Mrs. Claus or an elf or two hanging out at the Gales Gas Bar locations around Niagara. And to remind you as well, they are recruiting right now for a very, very important position. Their financial controller position is open. This is a very highly paid position for Niagara and requires special accreditation, of course. You've got to be proficient with a designation in the accounting world of a CPA, CMA, CGA, etc. If numbers are your thing and you have experience at it and you're awesome at it and you want to work for a local company, you know who your boss is every day, that is for sure, and a great involved company. Ontario's only petroleum industry fair wage.
Living
worker?
wage. That's what you're
living
looking for.
wage. That's the word that just went out of my mind. Living wage employer and all those things. Financial controller spot open at Gales. Also, thank you, Performance Heating and Air. Carlo and his gang. I know you've all had a very busy season, probably still busy for you right now. And the thing about a business like this, Kevin, is I don't know, you've experienced this, I know you have, as has my family, is things operate to things like furnaces and air conditioning and whatever your appliance might be. They operate fine right up until it's either a Friday afternoon or a holiday. And then they decide, your appliances or your facilities decide to take that time off too. and then the people like Carlo and his crew at Performance Heating and Air are called into action. And at times when they'd like to be with their families as well. So they're always there for you, which is cool. Trying to save you money, too, because their families live here also. Verge Insurance Group, all of your insurance needs in one stop. Verge Insurance, Mark and Blake Shirk and the gang there, thanks always for supporting us as well. And there is a spot open. We mentioned this before. Last week, so we'll mention it again. We don't have slews of sponsors. We're not like NASCAR where there's labels all over the place, but we do have one spot open, and it is right above my hat. Right above my hat. There. The show actually, not to put too fine a point on it, but we're bragging a little, reaches many, many more people than a lot of traditional media sources do every week here on Niagara 411 Live. And we'd love you to be a part of it. If you're interested in the numbers, we can give those to you as well. Contact us. Just leave a comment in the stream, etc., or whatever, and we'll be back at you. Also, Nick at Niagara 411 and all of the people that contribute to that initiative. Thank you very much for being our partner and content sharing here. It's a great working relationship. We have an opportunity to do some of the things every week live and regurgitate what happened over the past week. Look forward to cool things like we've been doing today, and it's always a pleasure. Happy early Christmas season to Nick's mom, to Kevin and Brandon Scram at WeeStreem, and Kevin, of course, our executive producer here for this show. Kevin's brainchild, I might say, was this program. I'm just thrilled that I'm a part of it.
You just do all the heavy lifting.
Yeah, right. Hardly.
Yeah, Lee, WeeStream was busy this past weekend.
I wanted to ask you about that.
Maybe towards the end of the show, we can share some footage from it, but on Saturday, we were in Grimsby, live streaming the Santa Claus Parade. It's got 16,000 views. Just heads up to the other municipalities. If you're not live streaming your Santa Claus Parade, we're not quite sure why, but make sure you do it in 2022. It's the one way to make sure that all your efforts are completely accessible to all, right? We had that very moving conversation with Sienna. Oh. All you have to do is live stream some of your events, and that makes it accessible to all, and not just then, but afterwards as well. You can go back and watch that now.
All of these shows, for example, are archived. And by the way, we are also available on podcast, wherever you get your podcast.
Put that little logo up there. There you
go. So we have, and of course, sometimes that's why we will read something on the screen that you can read yourself, because podcasts don't come with pictures. So it helps the podcast audience follow what the hell is going on here. Our YouTube channel is up there as well. Just go to WeeStream on YouTube and search Niagara 411. We're all there. All right?
Yeah, and then on Sunday, Lee, rather interesting one that we did, but for Chorus Niagara, we worked with their children's concert. And, you know, COVID has done all kinds of things to these people and organizations. Yeah. They would normally have a big Christmas concert. You know, parents, grandparents, the entire family comes, and that's a big fundraiser for them. So what we did is we helped them set up their live stream concert, which was behind a paywall. Right. So people bought virtual tickets, and they raised a whole whack of money, as they normally would, that they depend on to keep their program going, all with an empty church, save the performers, and that was so much fun. Congratulations to Amanda Nelly and everybody else that made that production happen on Sunday. It was nice nice working with all of you, and we look forward to doing some future events. And that's a real cool business model for people that are looking for it. Contact WeeStream. We put up a paywall, and you reap 100% of the tickets that come in. It's really cool.
That's what I was going to mention as well. Is people have had to, all kinds of businesses and industries have had to rethink their business models. And if you have any event or any business, any fundraiser, for whatever reason, any gathering, where you have traditionally depended on bums in seats, and you can't do it the same way, the first place you go is someone like Kevin and say, okay, we usually have bums in seats. We can't have bums in seats right now the way we usually do. So what next? WeeStream would be what's next.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Lee. So I'm going to throw up the
my
graphic.
Pleasure. Without you, I don't know where my next meal is coming from.
Oh, come now. I'll throw up the graphic here to a toy drive happening this weekend. We know there's a couple of them, but our next guest is going to talk about this one specifically.
Yeah, Dan Warkentin is a Royal LePage agent in Niagara, and this is an initiative that he's spearheading and joining this weekend, the 11th and 12th, the XMas Toy Drive. Dan Warkentin is with us once again. Hey, Dan, how are you?
Hey, Lee. Hey, Kevin. How you guys doing this afternoon?
We're great. Now, before we get on to Christmas, I want to rewind and go to Halloween, and for you to give us sort of a post-mortem or a debriefing on how your Halloween treat hunt went.
The candy capsule went extremely well. Crazy turnout. This year I decided to stay in the Port Dalhousie parking lot so I could keep an eye, and I just kind of ducked in the car a little bit.
Yeah.
And I saw a few families running frantically. Everything was found within, I'd say, 15 minutes. I gave out my first hint, and I couldn't believe how quick it was. So next year I'm definitely going to be stepping it up and, making it a little harder to find and bigger and better, right? So
okay. All right.
I was shocked at how many people really came out.
Well, so congratulations on that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, guys. You guys helped with that, so.
Because quite often on programs like this or promotions, we have an opportunity to promote something, and then occasionally you forget to follow up and find out how it went. So I wanted to get that first.
Yeah, and you know what? Kevin reached out to me too, and right after, and he's like, "How'd it go?" And he's like, "Wow, really good to see it." So it was a great turnout. I was really happy. It was fun to do it. It was fun to see it. I even ran out on the one family once they found it. I was keeping an eye on the candy. So as soon as they got close to it and they found it, I ran out and I was like, "Congratulations!" So it was a great time.
All right. So tell us about this weekend's XMas Toy Drive. Fill us in.
So the toy drive that I'm doing, I decided to team up with the good people at Home Hardware and Community Care of St. Catharines and Feulled, which I'm going to be doing, like you said, this Saturday, Sunday, December 11th and 12th. Basically, what's going to happen is this Saturday, December 11th and 12th, you'll find me at Home Hardware Hartzell Road location. I'll be under a tent and a table collecting toys for Community Care from 12 p.m. to 4 p.m. And every toy that you donate, I'm going to be giving you a ticket to enter a raffle. So what's going to happen with that is on December 18th, I'll be going on Facebook Live. You can add me on Facebook. It'll all be there, all the information. I'll be going on Facebook Live at 12 p.m. I'll be pulling 3 names from a raffle. The first name I pull will be winning a $100 gift card to the Keg. The second name I pull will be winning a full Christmas turkey dinner provided by me, which consists of a frozen butterball turkey, stuffing, scalloped potatoes, sweet potatoes, Brussels sprouts, and cranberry sauce. And the third name I draw will be winning the exact same thing as the second prize. So if I draw your name twice, you only get to win once, so it's on to the next.
That's good.
But you can, like I said, you can add me on Facebook if you have any questions. You can call me directly at 289-990-6765 if you have any questions. And I'd be more than happy to take any of your new or gently used toys, to put some smiles on some faces and give the chance to, give an exciting Christmas to some kids who are in need, right?
Now I know that post that we were showing online there is available on Niagara 411. So all anybody has to do is just stay where you are right now, because Nick has posted all the information there about your event coming up on the weekend. And we were talking earlier today. This has been an interesting program today, Dan. I don't know if you had a chance to see any of the earlier conversations.
Yeah, I was tapped in a bit earlier there, yeah.
But this has been a program of impressive stories and impressive people and humanitarian initiatives, I guess, for the I mean, I know that's too formal a word, but there are people that go about their daily lives and don't do much about giving back. We appreciate the fact that you're a real estate agent, yes, and of course anything that supports your brand and makes your name well known helps your business. But a lot of people are in that situation, and the lion's share of them don't take the time to do something like this and give back. So I just wanted to acknowledge the fact that that we appreciate people giving of their time. Because these days, as you know, time is probably our most precious commodity these days. Really.
Absolutely it is. And I completely agree with you. You know, the way I look at it is these are the things that I do, like the candy capsule or the toy drive. These are the things that I do on holidays, kind of for more of the public. I agree with you. I feel like in general, you know, you should live your life and try to be a bit more compassionate, accepting of others. And, you know, if you can inspire somebody to, you know, maybe do the same or just give a little bit, you know, it can start a chain of giving. And, you know, you put some smiles on some faces. That's what it's really all about. Like I said, holiday or no holiday, I think everybody could, you know, try to work on being a bit more compassionate and trying to help others and just be a bit more understanding that, you know, you're not in their shoes and you know, you don't know what it's like to walk through their shoes. So just have some compassion, you know.
Well, good luck with the event, Dan. And as I said, it's all over Niagara 411, so that's the place to go, because Dan's ads are all up there, and you'll know how to figure that out. Dan Warkentin, again, we probably won't talk to you before Christmas and the New Year, so hopefully we'll talk to you early in 2022. I can't believe at my age that I'm saying that there is even going to be a 2022. Holy cow.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I feel like I'm in Star Trek or something. Dan,
I like that.
Have yourself a hell of a holiday, and we wish you a happy new year, and thanks again for the initiative. Good luck on the weekend.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you guys having me, and have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and I hope to see you guys soon.
Thanks, man. Take care.
Take care, guys.
And happy Hanukkah to those celebrating, continuing to celebrate those 12 crazy nights.
Lee, it was great to have Dan on, and also wanted to pump the tires here because also on Niagara 411, they've been talking about another toy drive, this in conjunction with the St. Catharines firefighters. Mm-hmm. Nick put out a note, I believe, today suggesting that it's ongoing today, but they might shut it down tomorrow if the rain gets too bad, and you can see there, it'll be open today, tomorrow being Friday, but Saturday, you can see on our little weather bug there, 15 degrees, but we are expecting considerable precipitation. Right. But hey, you don't have to shovel rain.
Okay, now just sorry to interrupt you. The print on that ad is a little fine. Can you?
Right. So what it is
give us the details.
And it's not at an actual fire station. Down here they say, okay, visit us daily, 5 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. at Redwood Ave in St. Catharines.
That's what I wanted to know.
So I'm like, what is Redwood Ave? So Redwood Ave is up there, and it appears to be somebody's house. So I guess they have a display up there, because they're like, yeah, come by and see the display. So you could see, I mean, here's a St. Catharines, Port Dalhousie up there. So it's all the way up Niagara. It looks like Niagara and Linwell area. In between the two plazas.
That's not too far from where I live. And if I'm not mistaken, that is one of the streets that has phenomenal Christmas decorations and lights and things of that nature. So it's kind of a neat place to take your family and then drop off the toys. All right? So that's great. Kevin, I wanted to mention a couple of stories that appeared on Niagara 411. There were some arrests made. This is now we're getting a little bit more gritty as far as some of the news stories that took place over the last couple of days. So now here's the thing, though, that kind of really jumped out at me. There's something going on at this particular hotel or motel. They call it a hotel in the police releases. I think it's probably more like a motel, but nevertheless, it is located at Ellen and Center Streets in Niagara Falls, and count them, two major incidents happened, major arrests took place at this place. The first one was, so I guess my question to Kevin was, when we were talking about what's coming up on the show, was what TF is going on with the hotel on Ellen and Center Street? So here's the first story we saw. I think they kind of happened in tandem, but they were totally unrelated. There's some sort of weird karma at this facility. Niagara Falls uniform officers from the NRPS responded to a report of a robbery in the Falls. Officers attended to a hotel in the area of Ellen Avenue and Center Street. They met with a male victim in his 40s, a female victim in her 20s. The initial investigation determined the male victim had attended the hotel to collect money to him. Okay, so here's a guy that fixed somebody's car, and he wanted to get paid for it. So they show up at this hotel and want money. Well, the male victim was confronted by a group of males who pointed a knife at him. Okay, do you go to collect money at a motel? Maybe not a good idea. The victim was threatened with the knife as the suspect demanded his car key. So he goes there to get paid, and now they want his car. The victim was able to escape the room to the parking lot where he met up with the female victim. We've had some interesting stories, Kevin, over the last week or so. As they were about to drive away, the victims were then confronted by a female and two male suspects. Males pointed a handgun, people with guns, man, at the victims, and the female suspect brandished a knife. The suspects demanded the victims' belongings. The victims were able to escape when the suspects left the area. Well, of course you can escape if you leave the area. What are you going to do, hang around till they come back? Two district detectives, sorry, I don't mean to be facetious, but really these stories are a little... Two district detectives were assigned to the investigation. A room at the second hotel in the suspect's truck were held, pending a search warrant.
So here we go. Charged.
There. Megan Lindsay Rossi, 36 years of age, from Niagara-on-the-Lake, arrested and charged with robbery with a firearm, failure to comply with a probation order. There are obviously previous issues. Peter William Blaker, 36, of Niagara Falls, been arrested and charged with robbery with a firearm, failure to comply with a release order. There's more background. Kayla Wade, 27 years of age, no fixed address, has been arrested, charged with failure to comply with release order. There seems to be a theme here, Kevin. Don't you kind of get that?
We got a fourth guy here, Willie.
Patrick Charles Klein.
Oh, sorry, skipped him. Yeah, 5.
You skipped Patrick. Klein, 49, of Niagara-on-the-Lake, arrested and charged with robbery. Then William Bradley Prentice, 46 years of age, Niagara Falls, arrested with robbery with a knife. All 5 accused were held in custody. And there's now that particular firearm that you see there was a pellet gun.
It looks like an air pistol, because that would be the air cartridge right there, right?
Yeah, it's a pellet gun. Not that it couldn't hurt if you get it in the between the eyes or something. But anyway, and so then, that was the first one. That was the first one. But something else happened at the same hotel.
The second one, they found this.
Yeah. Now, that looks kind of gnarly, doesn't it? Niagara Falls uniform officers from the police service were at a hotel in the area of Ellen and Center Street, and they were on the scene investigating an unrelated incident. I wonder if it's the one we just talked about.
It must be.
It must be. Unless there's a whole crack at hooey going on. So, while on the scene, officers received information about the presence of a firearm and drugs in a room. So somebody probably said, well, what about that guy? Hey, forget about us or whatever, maybe the manager or whoever says, I think you might want to check out that guy too. So they found a Chiappa Little Badger. That's a brand name of a firearm, 22 caliber break action rifle, which we saw the picture of. So now this is a little bit more of a serious firearm. This is a step up from a pellet gun. This is actually a big deal. This is actually a rifle. This is a 22 caliber rifle.
That's it right there. But
Yeah.
why would you want the arm? I don't know. I don't shoot guns.
Well, it's a
Big scope on there, right? Is that what that is? I watch enough movies. That's got to be a scope.
Yeah, it's portable.
And there's your blue fentanyl.
Yeah.
And that looks like your standard weed.
So, I mean, if I were kind of maybe running the shift at NRPS, I'd say just go hang outside that hotel at Ellen and Center Street, and you probably got a bust or two coming up. almost 27 grams of suspected blue fentanyl, 5 grams of suspected cocaine, 6 tablets of oxy, almost $2,000 in Canadian cash. And that's where, for investigators and cops, that's where the rubber hits the road. When you find the drugs and the cash, you put the two things together. Oh, hello. So a couple of detectives assigned. Now here we go. Some other charges. Ethan Tully McNeil, 18 years of age, St. Catharines, has been arrested and charged with unauthorized possession of a firearm knowing its possession is unauthorized, careless storage of a firearm section. All right. Oh, that must have been maybe that was the scope. Possession of a Schedule 1 substance for the purpose of trafficking, that would be fentanyl. Possession of a scheduled substance for the purpose of trafficking, that would be cocaine.
And it's amazing, Lee, to point out that
In the same location.
the young guy, the 18-year-old, was the one with the real gun. All the other ones in the previous arrest, those people were 36, 45, 43.
Now,
They had the air pistol.
would the charge, I wonder, like when the rubber hits the road in a courtroom or a virtual courtroom, whatever, would that air pistol, I wonder, be considered as a weapon the same as the 22? I mean,
I'm not a lawyer. I've seen where
I
people
never
have been.
presumed that you were.
It's always been assumed in the
I was
past
just
that
asking the question.
if you rob a store and you have what looks to be like a firearm,
Yeah.
whether it's a pellet gun or a real gun, you're being charged with the same crime because that person doesn't know. But a sneaky lawyer might be able to argue that a different way.
I have something I want to talk about right now, Kevin, that I believe is a travesty, and I think that out of all the serious stuff that we've talked about this week, this is without question.
Talking about Spezza 6 games, like that's.
No. I'm talking about what's going on in Saudi Arabia right now.
Oh yeah, that's.
I can't.
Sorry, Lee. I mean, it's.
I'm gonna choke up here. The Saudi Arabian camel beauty contest
Yeah.
is taking place.
Every year.
This is a very amazing and solemn event. There are, and this part is true, $66 million worth of prizes are up for grabs. And the scandal this week, my friends, is unconscionable, is nothing sacred. It has been reported that people are being charged and their animals are being removed from the contest because the camels are using Botox. Dozens of camels barred from the Saudi beauty contest over Botox usage. I'm flabbergasted. I'm shocked that something as sacred as a camel beauty contest would be so besmirched by this terrible news. This is true, by the way.
Unfortunately.
Yes, sarcasm reigns supreme here on Niagara 411 Live. I know you were expecting something serious, but this is really happening, and that's what makes this so ridiculous.
But it's amazing that it's dozens, Lee. It wasn't one or two.
Not just one, dozens. Dozens of Botox-enhanced camels. This cannot continue.
I'm trying to find. I found a political cartoon today making reference to this. So I'll try and see if I can.
All right.
I can pull it up. Hey, Lee,
But it is true that there's like upwards of $66 million worth of purses up for grabs in this Saudi Arabian camel beauty contest. That part's true. You can't make this stuff up, Kevin. Can you ever make a camel beautiful?
I'm just upset that COVID has robbed you the opportunity of going over there and watching the beauty pageant in person.
I mean, I think it was Obama that said you can put lipstick on a pig, but it's still a pig? Wasn't it him that said that?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can put Botox in a camel, but it's still a camel. I mean, come on.
Yeah, but have you seen the size of those humps? Those things can't be really.
Apparently, that's the name of a restaurant chain over there.
Humps.
Lee,
I gotta go on a rant here. Just
Uh-oh.
for a couple of
What have I
minutes.
done now?
It's not you, it's Hergy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hergy's sticking his nose right in the middle of things again.
I call him Prime Minister Hergy.
And got to talk about this stuff. He
right.
came in with a letter last week, and it didn't get a lot of play, but it actually comes into effect tomorrow, and it directs all the municipalities in Niagara. Now, this is really affecting people that play hockey, for the most part. I mean, it's hockey season, it's so bred in Canada, but it's anybody that goes to recreational facilities. So it's
Okay.
your Gale Center in Niagara Falls. It's your four-pad in St. Catharines.
Now,
It's
let me interrupt you. Would this include like the Kiwanis Aquatic Center?
It
where you
should,
do
yes.
swimming and
Yes,
like
it
a
should.
pool?
Yep.
Okay,
It
go ahead.
should. And now we've noticed, and they've been able to track at least 5 outbreaks back to recreational facilities, and I give them that. I just don't think the solution is really addressing the issue, and the solution seems to be that now we can only access the change rooms 15 minutes before our scheduled ice time, and we must vacate the rooms 15 minutes after. I do not understand the logic. I do not understand.
It takes 15 minutes just to put skates on.
Is there a metric anywhere that would show us how this is going to be effective or how this is the root cause of the outbreak? It totally flies in the face of logic that at 16 minutes, I guess, COVID begins to spread.
Oh yeah, that's the
Like,
key.
is that-
Oh, that's the key time, right?
So we can, as hockey players, and again, maybe there's more to it, but this is what a lot of people are thinking. So I can go out there for an hour on the ice. I can fight for pucks in the corner and be this far
This
away
close,
from
yeah.
somebody else. I can get right in a guy's face and start yelling and screaming at him. But
Not that you do that.
no. But no way you're staying in that change room beyond 15 minutes.
And in a change room, you're nowhere near that close, unless.
No, unless you jam them in. Now, they're also introducing stuff like that, capacity limits. Now, I have been hearing around the municipality that a lot of the Parks and Recs department, including Phil Christie, had some comments last night at St. Catharines City Council about the logistics of implementing something like this and the pressure on staff from all the municipalities who haven't had a lot of time to ramp things up and figure out, like, we don't have people to go around and be checking on their watches at a 4-pad to make sure that everybody's getting out of there
It's
in 15
virtually
minutes.
unenforceable, Kevin.
It almost is.
It's unenforceable.
But
really.
it's also like, and trust me, I'm not suggesting that I know everything that the doctors do, but it seems illogical. I know a lot of this stuff does, but given what we've just said, that we can go out there and sweat and talk and share water bottles, and not that you should be doing that, but this is what happens. But then we come back in the room and we got to get out of there in 15 minutes because at the 16th minute, COVID begins to spread. What is happening beyond 15 minutes that makes COVID more of a super spreader?
Someone is living in a dream-induced world that the rest of us don't inhabit. And that often happens with people that are highly, highly competent in their field, but only their field. And it takes credibility beyond the realm of being credible. And that ruins your credibility with other things. Do you get what I'm talking about? Like if you say, we have said this, well, I have said this since March of 2020. If you're trying to really make sense of all of the decisions that are made, all you're going to end up with is a headache. There are so many illogical things and decisions that have been made and processes put in place. People all with good intentions. I totally believe that. But the dots don't connect. And if the dots do not connect, you've lost your audience. You've lost them. And I believe that our health infrastructure here in Niagara has lost their audience because the dots don't connect.
I would agree with that. It seems consistent. I mean, we were railing against this way back when about the no dining with people outside your household. And again, all good intentions, but the fact that that edict would come down with zero consultation with local politicians. And here we have again where Parks and Rec departments have to respond to something that is enacted upon them without prior consultation. Like you didn't check with municipalities. Like they're a phone call away to say, hey guys, is this something we can implement in a week and a half? Could we even implement this? What are the staffing pressures to something like this?
Sense.
It seems
and again, makes no sense. There I go saying it now. There are a lot of things that don't make sense, but I mean, one of the other things too, Ontario I know is considering, Niagara is considering, all the municipalities in the province are considering rolling back into some of the further restrictions because of this whole Omicron thing and all the rest of it. Windsor, Essex is one community that came out with something this week that as of tomorrow, that particular community cannot have any more than 10 people at a table eating inside a restaurant establishment together. How do you figure that out? Where is 10 okay and 11 not okay? This is what I mean by lacking the credibility of any tangible decision-making process.
that's what I think people are looking at, going, like, so 15?
So we could do 10, but 12 is like, that's going to put us like, huh?
And then
right.
they're also looking at capacity limits within the change rooms. Well, on any one ice surface, there's usually only 5 or 6 change rooms. So if now each team has to take up 2, you've taken up 4, which means there's no possibility of turnover. The team coming on next won't have change rooms to change in.
This is This highlights an issue, Kev, that I think is where most people have problems, is the fact that if you're going to consider trying to curtail something that you feel is important, bring the stakeholders into the room. Bring the hockey league runners, bring the arena operators, bring these facility operators in and say, okay, here's our problem. Is there a way you think we can help mitigate that? But I don't think they do that kind of research. I really, honestly don't think they do.
No, and I think you said it the best, is that we understand it's all well-intentioned. We're not trying to suggest that you're not trying, Dr. Hergy, your best, but I don't know
but
that
it's a bad call.
Yeah, I don't know that these are well-thought-out solutions, and I don't know that you talk to all the stakeholders about actually implementing them. I don't know that you've ever stepped foot in a recreational facility.
There's a flag on the play.
To understand, well, this is what I want to do. Does it make any sense? Can we implement it? Can we enforce it? And I just threw up the stats here, and then we'll get to
I did.
Monaco.
Let's. I saw that, but I ignored it for a second. Okay, so December the 9th today, 50 new cases. Active cases today, 326 in Niagara. New resolved cases, roll me up there, Kev. We got
that's not 8. There you go.
Yeah, 8. All right. Total number of cases, 19,000. Now that's the whole. That's 19,000 for the whole region for the whole length of COVID. Is that right?
Yeah, correct.
Since March of 2020.
Yeah.
Not less than 20,000 cases in a region of over 500,000 people.
And 50 new cases. I mean, that was the number that we all kept tracking on a day-to-day. Was the daily. 50 is not. It's higher than where we want to be, and maybe in the single digits of the teens. But I don't know that that's raised the alarm. Is it? I don't know.
The the Shakespearean quote would come to mind for the anti-vaxxers. It would say, much ado about nothing, but it's not nothing. I mean, it's something. I'm double vaxxed. I'll probably go get the so-called booster when the time comes around. I mean, I get it. I go along. I want to do my part for the peace and health of the community, but come on, we gotta make some sense of it.
Yeah, our kids are going tomorrow, Lee. Both our children get their first dose tomorrow.
All right. I want to thank Sienna for being here. If you happen to miss our conversation with her, keep an eye on Niagara 411 for our In Case You Missed It feature about Sienna and her experience with the Seasky International Light Show, or just watch this program from its beginning. Fascinating young woman, great story she has. And of course, Justin Preston and Letters by Justin. Thank you, man, for being here and what you do and everything you've done. And again, you can find our conversation with him on this program as well. Dan Warkentin, good luck with your XMas Toy Drive over the weekend. Godspeed and thank you for that. And don't forget the Firefighters Toy Drive as well on, oh shoot, I just forgot the name of the street, Kevin.
Oh, I forget it too, and it's not in front of me right now.
It's on Niagara 411.
Let me see, 20 Redwood Ave.
20 Redwood Ave in the north end of
Linwell and Niagara.
Yeah. As always, Gales Gas Bars, thank you for fueling this program. Don't forget, everybody, they're recruiting for a financial controller. Great position with a great company. Also, Performance Heating and Air, thanks for being here. Verge Insurance, always a pleasure to have you supporting us. Kevin at WeeStream, I always enjoy working with you and have again this week. It's always a pleasure. And we are going to be played off the stage, as I say every week, by Mel Monaco with a tune called I Choose to Believe. Have yourselves a great weekend, gang. Thanks for being here.
Yeah. Like there's a homeless man climbing. Yeah.
Through the back door.
Out there in the rain, cold and alone.
It starts.
I choose to believe that everything around me is not make-believe. A clear reality.
Just a little.
So